Hello everyone and welcome to Battle of the Beast New Protector Zero Edition, episode number 18. I'm Adam and today we have one more battle to do before we get to the grand final. So with the battle in front of me, we have two beasts which are going to be fighting against each other. And with the spin of the wheel, it was the case of that either Lupix or Horaxor were going to be fighting Draka the Winged Serpents today. And whichever beast that the wheel landed on will actually go straight through to the finals. Whilst the beast it didn't land on will be fighting Draka in today's episode. As you can tell by the title, Horaxor was the beast that was able to go straight to the final. So Horaxor was one of our finalists, whilst Draka and Lupix face off against each other. Which beast will come out on top? Well, I don't know. But this is arguably probably one of my favourite matchups throughout this entire tournament, and for it to be saved for the penultimate battle, I'll take that. I'm happy with that. So let's get to the stats. Draka the Winged Serpent. Draka's abilities consist of Acid Spit, Flight, Enhanced Durability, Natural Weaponry, Enhanced Speed, and Enhanced Strength. Lupix the Ice Wolf. Lupix's abilities consist of Natural Weaponry, Freeze Breath, Water, Absorption of Water, Enhanced Strength and Enhanced Durability. That will get stronger the more water she absorbs. And Enhanced Agility. She loses agility the more water she absorbs. And also she gets bigger when she absorbs water as well. She brings a snowstorm wherever she goes, and Enhanced Hearing and Smell along with a cold immunity. Okay, so with the stats department done, it's time to get to the main part of this video, which is of course the fight. The battlefield will be the clock arena from the Hunger Games Catching Fire, and with that, let's get into the battle. As the chamber doors open, Lupix immediately bounds out into the centre island of the arena, howls into the arena to try and send fear down her opponent's spine. As Draka comes out through the sky exit, they immediately make direct eye contact with each other, in which Draka immediately shoots a jet of acid towards Lupix. Lupix jumps out of the way, landing on a spoke as Draka swoops down, ready to just tackle Lupix. Lupix charges up, not being intimidated by Draka's large size, before pouncing and jumping right over Draka, whilst Draka does a full flyby to turn round. Lupix is shooting her frost breath to try and freeze Draka in place. Draka doesn't seem to be taking much notice of it due to the distance between them, doesn't feel much of it, before turning around, shooting another jet of acid whilst also making his way over to Lupix. Lupix dodges the acid jet, charges up towards Draka, and instead of jumping over, slides underneath Draka, using her claws to scratch underneath Draka's head, going down to his chest area. As Lupix goes to get away, Draka whips his tail around to wrap around one of Lupix's hind legs, and pulls it from beneath her, causing her to lose her balance and fall down onto the rocky spoke. When she quickly gets away, she makes her way to the centre island before turning around, glaring down at Draka, as Draka looks down at Lupix. Lupix shoots out a frost breath as Draka swoops into attack, with Draka shooting a jet of acid. As the acid collides with the frost breath, the frost seems to almost freeze the acid in place, and the now stick of frozen acid spit just falls down to the ground and shatters on the rocky spokes. As Draka and Lupix are about to collide, Draka instantly whips his tail forward, wraps it around Lupix's neck, and Draka instantly starts flying upwards into the sky, pulling Lupix by the neck up with him. As Lupix is struggling to breathe, she's trying to snap at Draka, but can't reach his tail, with the tail wrapped around the neck and very far away from the mouth. Lupix is trying to get away, and using her claws, she slashes at the tail, leaving 6 deep gashes at the edge of the tail, right where it was wrapped around her neck. Draka immediately drops Lupix as Lupix angles herself to aim for the water as Draka swoops back down and bites down onto Lupix's hind legs, stopping her from reaching the water. As Lupix leans herself forward again, she breathes a frost breath over Draka's lower jaw and using her claws slices at that, shattering any ice that formed there and causing Draka to roar in pain, dropping Lupix as Draka whips his tail forward to catch Lupix right before hitting the surface of the water. But the water is just barely in reach for Lupix to just reach her paw into it to start absorbing it and gain more size. Draka, as the more weight increases, Draka gets slowly pulled down due to the weight increase in the swell of Lupix, and eventually Lupix is able to absorb more and more water as Draka's struggling to keep Lupix up. Eventually, Lupix absorbs enough water to where she's twice the size of what she was. She bends herself forward, digs her claws into the side of Draka's body, and then just hoists herself backwards, breaking free from the tail wrapped around her leg and pulling Draka into the water along with Lupix. Draka is struggling in the water, trying to get out, but to no avail. But as Draka's also seen that Lupix is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, whilst the water is just disappearing. Eventually, Lupix is now twice the size of Draka, and all the water's gone, and Draka is now trapped in a very secure headlock by Lupix. As Lupix bites down on top of Draka's head, Draka roars in pain before whipping his tail around, wrapping it around Lupix's neck, and tries pulling Lupix's head away. Draka is trying to struggle free, but Lupix is literally holding Draka in such a steady position where Lupix just lying on the floor, just trying to keep Draka from getting away, but also starting to suffocate him. Draka angles his head upwards and shoots a jet of acid up into the sky, only for it to immediately come down. And at that moment, Draka uses all the strength he has to just roll over so that Lupix is pinning him down. And Lupix, not taking any notice by that, pinning Draka down is suddenly being splashed by raindrops of acid coming all over her as she roars in pain and backs away as Draka is now able to get back onto off her back, let's say, off his back rather. As Lupix heals himself with the frost breath, but also with the snowstorm helping him out as well, he looks at Draka, who is now ready to fight this behemoth of a beast. Lupix strides up to Draka, looking down on him, really thinking, there's nothing you can do to beat me now. I have absorbed all the water. I am twice your size. Draka immediately shoots a jet of acid right towards Lupix. Lupix turns to the side to let the acid splash off the side of her body. And whilst it does do that, it's also a case of it does quite a big number on Lupix's side as well. Lupix roars in pain over that before turning around and instantly bringing down her claw right on Draka, slashing 3 very deep gashes from the top of Draka's head down to the lower jaw, going right through one of Draka's eyes. As Lupix then breathes her frost breath over Draka, Draka shoots the acid spit towards Lupix. As they collide, with the frost breath being more powerful, the acid spit freezes in place, with some of the acid being frozen where it came from. Draka sees that it's now starting to choke on the acid, which is now frozen inside of him, as he chomps down on it to just close his mouth, and he goes to fly away. As he does so, Lupix prevents him from getting away by biting down onto his tail, pulling him down, and lifting up both her claws and slashing through all 4 sets of Draka's wings. Draka roars in pain and shoots a jet of acid, immediately dissolving the frozen acid that was still stuck in his mouth, so Draka can now breathe, before turning around point blank and shooting acid directly on top of Lupix's back. as the acid bounces off and starts landing on the ground everywhere. Draka continues shooting the acid as Lupix is biting, scratching, and breathing frost all over Draka. Draka is now struggling with starting to maintain tons of wounds. He's now completely unable to fly and is now relying on his tail to just move around. Lupix, with a good grip on Draka's tail, swings her head round, swinging Draka around with him, for slamming Draka right into the wall of the arena before letting go. As Draka tries to regain himself, he looks over at Lupix, who's now half the size of what she was 5 minutes ago, and shoots a jet of acid towards Lupix as Lupix shoots frost breath out, immediately freezing it in place, but Draka bites down onto it so it doesn't freeze in his mouth again, before shooting another jet of acid that is starting to counteract it as Draka shoots the acid in individual little shots. Lupix is freezing each one in place and it's just landing, smashing on top of Lupix. Unbeknownst to Lupix, though, it is the acid, whilst being frozen and smashing against her, it is still doing its job of dissolving little bits of her. Eventually, Draka is able to whip what's left of his tail towards Lupix's front paw, pulling it forward, making Lupix lose some balance, and immediately Draka spits out as much acid as he can over Lupix's head. Lupix roars in pain over this as it just works its way over the entirety of Lupix's body, dissolving Lupix's body down to the size that it was when the battle started, and now they match in size. Draka whips his tail around Lupix's neck now, wrapping it around as tight as he can, whilst Lupix is digging his claws into the side of Draka's body. As Lupix is losing oxygen because of the strangulation that Draka's inducing, Lupix is just tearing away at Draka's scales, trying to make him bleed out. Draka shoots up a jet of acid up into the sky, causing it to rain acid. In the whole time, though, he then decides to lean forward and bites down onto the side of Lupix's shoulder with his very sharp fangs, piercing right through the ice, connecting it immediately, biting a giant chunk off of Lupix. Lupix howls in pain over this before scratching at Draka's side of his face, before with 3 gashes, all of which connects into his mouth. As Draka goes to bite down onto Lupix again, instead of full on going through with it and bringing his jaws together, he shoots a jet of acid point blank into Lupix, immediately dissolving away into it point blank, and eventually a whole hole of acid gets shot right through of Lupix. As Lupix backs away, Draka can see with his one good eye that there's now a hole going right through Lupix where the jet of acid came from. As Lupix charges up to Draka, limping at this point, Draka realizes there is a chance as he whips forward his tail again, wraps it around Lupix's head, and he bites down onto Lupix's head, spitting a jet of acid right into Lupix's face as Lupix roars in pain over this, scratching aggressively towards Draka, trying to get free. But eventually, though, as Lupix is still scratching at Draka, pulling away at his scales, almost getting his other eye in the process, eventually the struggling stops and Lupix's paws fall down, slump down to the ground along with the rest of the body. As Draka lets go of Lupix, the spectators see at the bottom of the arena that Lupix has no head at all, and all that's left is just the body, which is smaller than what it was when it started, and nothing else. And Draka looks down at the body before biting onto it with his giant mouth and snapping right through it, shattering Lupix's body. As the snowstorm fades off, Draka realizes that he's beaten Lupix, but barely with his life. Eventually, Draka makes his way back to his chamber, realizing he's now at the bottom of the arena with no wings and the chamber door being up there. He realizes he can't really do much. So what he does is he waits for the landlord to come forward, heal Draka of all his wounds before Draka can eventually take back into his chamber, ready for the final battle. So that Draka's won, Lupix has lost. If you think Lupix should have won, please leave in the comments below what you think about how my words final and Draka's moving on to the final round. So with these Suppies going against each other, it wasn't really a battle of size advantage because Lupix, whilst being smaller, can become bigger very easily. And then after that, it just came down to a battle of endurance along with abilities. And whilst Lupix had a counter to Draka's abilities, Draka had a counter to Lupix's counters, if that made sense. So I do believe I made the right choice in making Draka go through. And to be fair, with who Draka's fighting in the final, I think Draka versus Haraxor will be more of an interesting battle than Lupix versus Haraxor. And I say that because, bear in mind Haraxor's special ability, this beast would be decimated. So yeah, I think no matter what battle Beast Lupix was going against, he wasn't going to make it into the finals unless he was the beast that was picked to go through to the finals. But with that being said, that is all for this time, and now we're down to our top 2. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press that little notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.